Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Dragon's Lair podcast in association with the Riverside Sports Bar, the home of live sport and banging burgers in Newport. With me this week is Gav Leclerc, and I'm pleased to say Gavin Thomas. He is back. Welcome back, Gavin. How are you?
Yeah, I'm well, thank you, and thank you everyone who checked in on me when I wasn't on last week, and also thanks to Lee who said not Lee from Rap, but Lee, one of our listeners, who said, "Oh, you need to come back. I prefer it when it's crap and you're on." Which, backhanded comment, compliment.
Charming, isn't it? No,
No
it
Gav,
is.
no party. It's not the same, is it?
I was just about to say that. Yeah, it's not the same without it. There's no Gav, no party. Gareth, are you okay? Because you went to the football, didn't you, on Thursday night? Wales, Bosnia,
Oh,
the heartbreak.
it was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It's a very late night down at Leckwith when you go out on pens. Great occasion. And for those who
Mm.
watched would have seen it was, a pretty good game in some ways, but losing on pens is tough to take. And now I've got a ticket to a friendly on Tuesday, and I'm thinking, it's just not how I pictured my Tuesday going. I was thinking, right, finish work early, get
Yeah.
down Cardiff early. Now I'm thinking, might just go to the pub.
Uh, I think when we brought subs off the bench in that game, like Mark Harris and Liam Cullen just are not those players that we needed on the field, were they? And
No.
Bosnia brought that teenage winger on who
Yeah,
caused
it
us
was.
chaos.
Yeah,
And we
it,
had Mark Harris and Liam Cullen flailing about.
yeah, they did frustrate me a little bit because there was a couple of chances, and you think we could have actually pulled away. And for large periods, we deserved it. But
Well, Harry Wilson hit the post, didn't he, and the
yeah,
bar.
so frustrating. But
It's
yeah,
all right.
pens is a cruel way to go out, isn't it? But
It is. It
yeah,
is.
It is very cruel, but I'm sorry that penalty though from Brennan Johnson. I'm sorry. Look, I appreciate players who have the guts to step up and take a penalty in those circumstances, but at the same time, I think you're paid a lot of money and this is your job, and it ended up in Rose said that was an awful penalty, awful
he didn't
penalty.
look confident all game though. You
No,
just
he
had
No,
that
had.
air
Yeah,
about him that he didn't have it, the
he had the
bit between
poor
his
game.
teeth. But
yeah,
My dad had this theory that if a professional footballer took a penalty, if they missed it, they should be instantly sacked because in his head, well, that's their job. Their job is to kick a ball. And if they can't kick a ball 18 meters into a great big net, then they shouldn't be doing the job.
especially if they don't get it on target,
Yeah, no, it was if the keeper saved it, that's fine because the keeper's doing his job. But
fair.
yeah,
if you can't hit that rectangle, then you should be instantly sacked.
yeah. I
Yeah, it's fair.
agree. Like get it on target if you miss, fair enough. But when you blast it over the bar, I think it's inexplicable, just terrible penalty. But it's heartbreak again, isn't it, for Wales? But as we say on this pod, it's the hope that kills you. It was very Dragonsy at the end, wasn't it? You've got to admit that.
It
It was
was.
Dragonsy. You should be used
Oh,
to this by now, Gareth,
I
anyway.
know. Yeah, I just love it. Love pain.
Oh, dear. Right, okay, so we got another busy pod for you this week. Let's get straight at the news desk. So, fair bit of news. George Roberts has joined the Scarlets on a short-term loan agreement because of a hooker crisis out west. The 28-year-old has made four appearances, scoring one try for the Men of Gwent since joining the club last December. I don't know if you watched the Leinster Scarlets game, but he did come off the bench in the 48th minute during Scarlets' 36-19 defeat to Leinster, and he played all right. In fairness, I thought Scarlets did all right.
Yeah,
To be fair.
I want him to come back. I think he's a tidy option. But with D coming back now, we've got a bit of depth, haven't we?
Well, that's the thing.
We've got four hookers essentially, haven't we?
Yeah,
Well, six hookers really, but four who are good enough to be in the team.
Yeah, but
yeah,
George Roberts now is fourth choice, isn't he? Because you got D, you got
Yeah,
Brody, you got Ollie Burrows, then you got
yes,
George, and then you're looking at Sam Scarf Jumbo. So there's a lot of
yeah.
depth there at hooker. I want to know how long we signed him for, though. Was it just till the end of the season, or did we sign him on a
No, it was a year
career
and a
deal?
half, wasn't it?
Was it? I don't think it was
Yeah.
ever disclosed the length. I'm not sure it was, but
I've convinced myself it was a year and a half. I might be wrong.
be interesting to find that out. But yeah, all the best, George. Obviously, go well at the Scarlets.
well, I'm not too well.
Not too well, obviously, no, but he's a good player. I like him a lot.
No, I do like him. Yeah,
Yeah.
just don't like the Scarlets.
Oh, yeah, that's understandable. No one does. Right, moving on to transfer rumours then. So, according to Wales Online, Dragons have found a replacement for Anne Wainwright. And it's Northland's back rower, Terrell Patea. Nope, me neither. Patea is currently part of Blues' Super Rugby squad, and he's capable of playing right across the back row. Patea started his career with Auckland, then he spent time in Major League Rugby in the USA, turning out for the New England Free Jacks. And then he returned to New Zealand. Patea has played for Auckland, Manawatu, and Northland. So, yeah, it looks like we've got our Aaron Wainwright replacement. Now, Gareth, can I nominate someone for your Get Fucked list, please?
Oh, go on.
Right. I would like to nominate the Wales Online headline writer, please,
Very fair. Yeah. Yeah.
for their clickbaity and slightly misleading headlines. So, what Wales Online are doing now, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, like a lot of other media outlets are doing online, to be fair, particularly on Facebook, is instead of just posting the article, what they do now is they post the headline on a graphic,
Yeah.
and then the article is in the comment section. So you have to click
Yeah.
on it there. So this was the headline they used for this article. Exclusive. Dragons close in on New Zealand rugby star to replace Aaron Wainwright.
Ardy
I
Surveyor.
Yeah, well, I saw that as well, and I was like, "Oh, who could it be?" And then
Yeah.
it's some bloke who's never played Super Rugby.
So that's the thing. I looked at this and I thought, oh, hang on. Dragons have just signed an All Black. This is
Yeah.
exciting. This is really exciting. New Zealand rugby star. Who's this then? So I click on the link and then I find out it's Terrell Patea. And this is a guy, as you just mentioned, Gavin, he hasn't even played a single minute of Super Rugby. That's not my definition of a New Zealand rugby star.
No,
So, yeah, I'm not happy with the headline. It's the overhyping clickbaity headlines that do my head in with Wales Online. And I think it actually does the writer of the article a disservice. And this is nothing against Ben James, who wrote that article, but slightly misleading headline. And they've done
It
it
does the
before.
White a disservice, and it also does the Dragons disservice because people go, oh, "Well, that's not a star, is it, Dragons?" You're like, Dragons didn't pick the bloody headlines.
That's the problem. It invites ridicule then, doesn't it, from other people?
Yeah.
And they've done this before. So they did it with Ancelo Tuidevuki, didn't they?
Yeah.
Oh, last year. So their headline was, again, a quote, exclusive. Welsh club close in on signing of international powerhouse as they target more. And you're like, oh, international powerhouse. Who's this? And then it's Ancelo Tuidevuki. And okay, yes, he is an international. That's fair. But unless you're a rugby nose who watches Pro D2, you won't know who he was.
no, he's played 7 times for Tonga
Yeah,
and
that's not an
and plays
international
in the French
powerhouse.
second division. Like, it's
Yeah. There was another one recently. I don't know if you guys saw this one. So this is the headline. Scarlet's interested in signing Wales star from Cardiff. It was Corey Domachowski. Now, nothing against Corey Domachowski, perfectly capable prop, but he's not my definition of a Wales star. Nobody, literally nobody, will call Corey Domachowski a Wales star. For me, Louis V. Samet is a Wales star.
He's not bringing in the
Wayno,
casuals, is he?
Jack Morgan, they're Wales.
Jack Morgan is a Wales star. Aaron Wainwright
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
a Wales star. Ben Carter, that is now a Wales star.
Is Domachowski the one who the social media video where he's stuck in the swing?
Yes.
Yes. He is a star for that, to be fair. Yeah.
I like him. He's a good prop. Don't get me wrong. But
Yeah, he is.
Wales star? Come on. Come on, Wales Online.
Wales is fourth choice tight head.
Yes. So, yes, I want to put the Wales Online headline writer on the Get Fucked list, please, because it's deeply
Yeah, that's
annoying
fair.
and it's very misleading.
Yeah.
So, what do we all think of this then? Terrell Patea.
Do you know, he looks like he could be a good player. I've had a look into him, obviously, straight away. Sort of going through his Instagram, looking at his highlight reels, which, as we know, can be misleading. Reading about him, definitely seems a decent prospect, big, athletic, great. But when you're losing potentially one of Wales's best players, and we're told we're going to be replacing him, you're expecting more. I'm expecting an international, to be honest.
Yeah.
I know it is hard to attract top players, especially given everything in Wales, but you are expecting someone with international caps. Or if we are signing someone from the Southern Hemisphere, someone with 40 to 60 Super Rugby caps, hopefully, even if they're not an international. But someone who's not managed to break in to the Super Rugby team is a little bit disappointing, if I'm honest, because he is like 25. It's not like he's 21 and like a project player. He could be good, and look forward to seeing him go. But it is a bit underwhelming.
But I've seen people say, "Oh, he did really well in the MLR." I'm not being funny. I do all right in the MLR.
Yeah.
It is. I have watched the MLR. It is not a good league, and I know all the rugby hipsters are. Oh yeah, it's terrible. It's absolutely awful. It's average
Yeah.
players playing on crap pitches, and I've seen him. He looks decent in the MLR, but it's not hard.
Okay.
It's a bit like people who score 40 goals in the Dutch league then can't do anything in the Premier League.
Okay, I will point out that in the Rap Network, which we're part of, there is an American rugby pod, and I hope they're not listening to this because I don't think that's going to go down very well. But I get your point. That's not really a
Well,
glowing endorsement for me.
It's not a world class league. It's
Yeah.
entertaining. I supported an MLR site, the sadly passed Nola Gold. I'll happily watch it. I did watch it. It's not a good league though. Let's not pretend.
Yeah,
Yeah, fair.
that's fair enough. I think for me, look, I've said it before, replacing Wainwright is mission impossible. Like, when
Yeah.
people say, nobody's irreplaceable, but I'm sorry, Aaron Wainwright for the Dragons is irreplaceable. We are never going to get
No.
anyone of his standing coming to the Dragons. It's a fact. We're just not going to. We can't attract that level of player. But I think it's like you said, Gav, you're hoping for at least someone with Super Rugby experience, or even if he had just a handful of caps, really, for the country. And I think people would have been expecting a big name or a bigger name, at least a household name to replace Wayno. And it doesn't really look like. But having said that, he could be a very, very good player as well.
It could be.
We have to give
Yeah.
him a chance as well. So we have to, the proof
It's
is in
not
the
knocking
pudding.
him, is it? It's
No,
I'm
no.
sure I'm sure he'll do his best, and he could be a good player. But you just think we're having Wainwright's wage off the books. The budget is going up by 700k. Okay, players like Shea Hope and a few other youngsters are going to re-sign, which you'd imagine would take up a little bit of the money. But we've got a bit of money to spend, and you are expecting a little bit more quality. And
But
if it's only rumored 4 signings, you're like, well, where's this cash going?
but let's have a moment of faith. If it was him and another back rower, we'd be
Yeah.
like, actually, that's all right. Not that I think we need loads of back rowers because we've got a decent back row, but
It's such an attritional position, isn't it? You always
Yeah.
need an
Yeah.
absolute load. We're always missing some, and like all teams. So yeah, that's fair. If it's an addition, but when we're told we're only going to sign 4, and we know 2 of them now, and one's going to be a backup 10, it's not probably what I was hoping for. Albeit they could all be good players, and hopefully they do add to the group. We've got to trust the coaches that they know these players and have done their homework. Last year's recruitment went well.
4 is a disappointing number, isn't it? Let's be realistic. We could do with 2 more props, another second row, 2 more back rows, a wing, a centre, and a 10. I make it 8 that we could do with to strengthen. Because we'll lose players, won't we?
Hopefully.
Yeah,
There's a few in there that
I think there's certain players, I think we can all agree, we're not naming names, that do need to be let go. But here's the thing, I don't think we need an overhaul. I think the Dragons have been guilty in
No.
recent years of
Yes.
we lose too many players, we bring in too many players. There's no continuity in the squad. So we don't need a major overhaul. But 4's not enough for me.
No.
4 players, you got to get more players in than
Well,
that.
it was close to like 14 in and out last year. Like that. That's
But I don't think that's particularly
ridiculous.
helpful either, is
Yeah,
it, to have
yeah,
that level of
that's agreed.
turnover.
But 6, 7 maybe. That could
Yes,
be.
6 or 7 would be fine, wouldn't it? It's because we do need more props because we seem to break them.
Well,
And
we'll
we,
come on to
Well, I
that
mean, we
later, yeah.
played Rob Hunt to death as well, didn't we?
yeah, and we need an option other than Tinas at 10.
Yeah.
Agree. But let's give this new guy a chance. Like I said, I'm not knocking him. It's just I don't like it when Wales Online build this guy up, and then when you say like replacement for Aaron Wainwright, and it's a guy you've never heard of. But then I will point to Fletcher Anderson, the Scarlets. He only played a couple of times for the Crusaders, and I think he's been the signing of the summer.
Yeah.
No,
I think he's been amazing. Signing the season, I should say.
Yeah, he's really good. Yeah, so we might be entirely wrong. This bloke could
But then
be.
he's 4 years younger, isn't he? And had Super Rugby
Yes, there is
experience.
that.
But this guy, I've had a look at him. He does look big, athletic. He looks the type of back rower we do want to sign to replace Wayno. But just hoping that they'd played at a high level. But let's hope he hopefully breaks through and gets a couple of games before the end of the season.
He's got huge calves.
That always helps.
There we are then. Perfect. That's a done deal.
Keep my eye
think.
out for those on the terrace.
Yeah, check out those cars. Yeah, but we think that's a done deal from what we've seen and heard. So yeah, that'll be announced pretty soon, I would imagine. Right, there you go then. So in other news, WRU chair Richard Collier-Keywood will step down this summer at the end of his 3-year term.
Wanker. Sorry.
Gareth. What a coincidence that was. Who saw that coming? I'm sure it has absolutely nothing to do with the vote of no confidence that he's facing at the EGM in a couple of weeks. It has absolutely nothing to do with that. I don't know if you read Steph Thomas's article. It was behind a paywall, to be fair, but he said months of criticism from a number of key stakeholders, including politicians, had placed significant pressure on the WRU board to act. 2 board members formally requested his immediate resignation on Thursday after a board meeting early in the week. What followed was described by one key figure as and I quote, Mexican standoff. So he obviously jumped before he was pushed. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Gav, what do you make of that? Because we've spoken a lot about Mr. Collier-Keywood on this podcast.
It's very, very interesting that his own board have now sort of turning against him a little bit, especially when we hear everything about it being unanimous decisions and according to him, everything was rosy and everyone was on his side. That's clearly not the case. And obviously we know we're in a struggle against the conditions of a potential new agreement, which we are led to believe that other board members are softening their stance. So I think it can only be good for us. Still be nice if the EGM booted him out, wouldn't it? Just to give him that little bit of extra embarrassment.
Doesn't really matter now, though. Like Malcolm Warner's retiring, Collier-Keywood's going, so now this has lost its impetus a little bit, this EGM, as far as I'm concerned.
And people think, oh, get him out in the EGM now so we can, so he doesn't push things through before he does go. But if the board are turning against him, how is he going to get everything through that he wants?
There's going to be, the thing is, the EGM, this is not going to change it. There's going to be 3 clubs. Nothing's stopping that. There is a snowball that's developed so much momentum now. That's what's happening.
I think just looking from the outside, at one point I 100% lost any hope of there ever being 4 and sort of tried to get my head around accepting it and not getting behind it, but trying to see why it would be a benefit. But now in my mind, I'm thinking, is there a chance again that it could be 4? But you say no, Gav? You think?
They haven't got the money.
Yeah.
They haven't got the money. That's the long and the short of it.
Well, our owner's quite vocal online, isn't he, saying keep 4?
Yeah, well, and I want 4, but the WRU have spaffed money wildly, and now they haven't got the money to run the 3 clubs, to 4 clubs.
I think there's many twists and turns to come. I really do. So
you could see why some Ospreys fans now would cling on to some hope with a few things that have been announced.
Yeah, St. Helens recently.
Yeah, although even that, when you scratch beneath the surface, doesn't seem quite as...
It's not anywhere near the investment in St. Helens that they wanted. Basically, it's enough investment so the URC will let them play there. It's nothing more than that.
Yeah, it's not... it's not as substantial as as a headline would read.
Or are they preparing to go to tender? I don't blame the Ospreys. They have got a crack on, business as normal. Until the decision is actually made, until the sale goes through. And
it's
Rob Stewart,
this is still going on.
I know Rob Stewart is dividing a lot of opinion with people, but fair play, he's taking the fight. He really is fighting for the Ospreys. I don't agree with everything he says, but it is weird that Swansea Council, the only ones really fighting for the Ospreys, where the owners aren't and the CEO aren't. But it seems to be Swansea Council, and I don't blame them. Good luck to them. They got to stand up and fight, haven't they?
They want professional rugby in the city, don't they? I understand why they would do it.
Absolutely.
I'd expect the same from our councils, to be fair. But it is a positive. But will anything change? It's just like we've just talked about recruitment and the type of players we're looking at. And we do welcome them to the Dragons, but this must, honestly, it's got to have an effect. How could it not? Because if you're signing from a faraway land, You have no affiliation with any of these clubs. If you look at the Dragons and look at a club in England, why would you sign for someone who is got so much uncertainty around the future? You just keep that at arm's length, wouldn't you? Because at the end of the day, it's a job. You want security, like anyone.
No, I agree. You make valid points, but I still think there's a lot of twists and turns to come yet, and this is Welsh rugby, so there'll definitely be some twists and turns to come. But going back to Collier Keyword, and I appreciate the work he did around the finances. I do think his work on that front should be recognised. And to be fair, that is his area of expertise. But as I said before, I think he's been a lousy chair. He worked 1 day a week at the WRU. He knew next to nothing about Welsh rugby or rugby in general, I don't think. And he wanted supporters to follow individual players instead of clubs. Do you remember that ridiculous comment? But also for me, he allegedly, and I stress allegedly because this story was pulled by Dragon Sports, but he allegedly threatened to resign if the WRU board didn't accept the Y11 bid for Cardiff. So
Did that story get pulled?
Yeah, so Dragon Sports put it up and then he got pulled. Now, I don't know why, but he got pulled. But that's why I'm saying allegedly. If that's true, I just think that's...
Richard Collier Keyword was swinging his dick around again, threatening people like he does because he's a bellend.
Well, like I said, I don't think that's a good look at all. So I don't think he's going to be much of a loss to Welsh rugby whatsoever. He has been a barrier to progress in terms of signing these new deals. And the timing isn't a coincidence either, so let's be honest. Yeah, so...
he's not brought anyone with him, has he? There's no one in his corner.
No, not at all. Not at all. So wish him well in his new venture, wherever he does next. But I think it's for the best if Collier Keyword moves on. So yeah, we'll see what the EGM brings. But yeah, there we go. He's gone. Or he's going. And I think that might be for the best. Right, match review. So on Saturday afternoon, the Dragons took on the Lions at Ellis Park. And to be fair, they put in a very spirited performance, coming away with a try bonus point, thanks to 2 tries apiece from Rio Dyer and the ever-reliable Aneurin Owen. Dragons found themselves in the lead early in the second half, but unfortunately several factors went against them. Injuries, altitude, the effects of a 6-day turnaround. It was always going to be a tough ask, and that meant the Dragons ran out of steam and the score finished 42-26 to the Lions. Now, we'll talk about the scrum and the scrum half crisis in a bit, but let's just focus on the actual game itself first. Gavin, you can have the first word. Now you're back with us. Result as expected, I would argue, but Dragons did stay in the fight and they picked up a try bonus point for their efforts. So there are positives to be taken from this performance, isn't there?
I thought we did very well, personally.
Yeah.
Considering it's a tough place to go. We, short turnaround. And we actually, and I remember having a conversation about us going to Lions. I think it was one of the, very early in the days of the pod when it was just you and I, Jamie.
Yes.
And we chipped something ludicrous. It was like 70 points or something.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
And we were both saying, God, are we just going to have to do this forever now, talk about these games?
Yes.
But there were times during that game, and I watched the first half. I was at football yesterday, so I watched the first half on my phone. And then I watched the whole game again back today. And there were times, even when I knew what the result was, when I thought, oh, we could win this. We could win this. And it wasn't a lack of effort. I think what let us down was a lack of final product. And there were some key players who underperformed a little or just missed opportunities. And I know Rio scored 2 tries, but he probably also left another 2 tries out there on the field for me. There was one when we broke down the left and he's in a ton of space. And I don't know if it was a poor pass or him not being in the right place, but he spooned it. And then similar happened in the second half with Jared and in the first half with Jared. And then some of the decision, and this is why I like Angus at 15, not 10, because at 15, you can make a risky decision and it doesn't shoot you in the arse. Whereas at 10, sometimes it can do. So, yeah, so that's all the negatives. But positive, it looked nice, didn't it? We looked to get our ball wide. And Aneurin and Nisi in the centre is the option for me. Because they play really well. And Aneurin's first try, that was Nisi who created that.
Yeah.
showed a bit of strength,
Brilliant.
found a gap, and it was really selfless in giving it to an iron.
Yeah.
There was real positives there. I thought, the back row did really well at the breakdown. Thomas Young,
Yeah.
I was worried about Bedell, but Thomas Young did what I know he's capable of. He was a real pain in the arse at the breakdown,
Yeah.
which is what we wanted from him. Yeah, and I thought Screech did all right. He go around the field. Yeah, defensively, I think I think it was first try when that big back rower, I can't
Oh,
think of his name
yeah.
now.
The big
So
six.
I'll come
Yeah.
in here because I wanted to talk about this at a later time, but now you've mentioned him, I will. So one of the players that did impress me, it wasn't a dragon, it was a lion from a lion's point of view, was the 19-year-old flanker who put Angus on his arse.
Was he
Yeah, that's
19?
He's 19. He is Siba Mashahi. I think
He's a
that's
big
right.
boy,
Dan.
isn't he?
Yeah.
That's it.
What a unit he looks. He was a pest all game, and he held up Thomas Young over the line as well.
Yeah.
So he saved a try there. I thought he was fantastic. Now, I thought he should have had player of the match, but Nico Stein got it. And he had a good game, to be fair.
Yeah,
But
did,
he
yeah.
really impressed me. This last one to keep an eye on, Siba Mashahi. He was
Just
very,
a monster,
very good.
wasn't he?
Yeah, they got so much talent, the Lions. They don't get talked about like the other South African teams,
yeah.
but
They're a good
there's a
side.
lot of talent. Yeah. Sorry, Gav, continue.
No, he was such a physical specimen,
Yeah.
and like he brushed Rio off as if he weren't there, and then he ran through Angus.
You won't want to watch that back, poor Angus, because he flattened him, didn't he?
Mind you, it must be hard tackling a bloke whose legs are probably as wide as your hips.
Yeah.
So, but no, what a specimen that lad is.
Yeah.
And and I know we're going to talk about it, but the set piece shot us in the arse, didn't they? It's
Dreadful.
we just underperformed. And it's not difficult. You go into Ellis Park, you're playing a Lion side, you know what you're getting. They're big, they're physical, they'll want to scrummage, and then they'll look to get the ball out. And we just looked so underprepared to scrummage. And I'm not singling out players because it's not down to one person. But that's 2 weeks in a row now where the scrummage has been absolutely dismantled like it's an IKEA flat pack. Like, it has just been kicked apart. And for all our attacking intent, if you haven't got the pill, you can't do an awful lot.
Yeah, no scrum, no win. Yes, I
It's
said
the
it last
wind at
week.
your sails, doesn't it?
Yeah, I said it last week, and I'll keep saying it. If you don't have a scrum, no chance for a win. And I'll talk about the scrum in a little bit because I got real big concerns about that. Any other comments, Gav, you want to add to that?
No, I think it was a B performance for me. I think we did well. We got something out of it. That's pretty much all we wanted from this season, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm really glad we got a bonus point out this. I actually thought we played better against the Stormers,
I
but we
agree.
didn't come.
Yes.
But we didn't come away with anything. Whereas this week there was a drop off, and understandably so. We have to remember it was a 6-day turnaround. We're playing in altitude, so fair's fair. But we got something out of it, and that's what I'm pleased about. I think it would have been really disheartening, to put in these performances, not get anything from it. At least we got something out of it, which was really important. Gareth, so last week when we did this poll, you were very confident. You said Dragons by 8, bonus point win, all this nonsense. Well, to be fair, we got a bonus point. We just didn't get a win. But
Have you
that was
been
pretty
licking
good.
toads again, Gareth?
He does it every time. He gets all excited. We put a good performance or win, and Gal thinks we could take on the
When I
world.
listened to the pod, I was listening to the pod, and I was like, "Oh, mate, I know you're positive, but let's not be insane."
He does it every time, though, doesn't he, our Gareth? He gets all excited, bless him.
Mate, there was points in that game where I thought it's on. We're gonna win.
Yeah.
It
I
was
did as well.
happening.
Well, no, so did I. So did I, but I didn't think it beforehand.
Right, Gav,
Yeah.
what did you make of it?
Yeah, I think, a lot of what Gav said, there was a lot of positives. If we could have taken a point or two last week, I think it would have been a really successful tour. Almost feel a touch disappointed to come away from these two games with 1 point, but I am really glad that we did get something for our efforts because I felt like the performance deserved it. Again, like some of our defense is really good. Our scramble D is really good. We played smart rugby. We were pretty obvious we weren't playing any rugby in our own half. We were happy to kick the leather off the ball first half and not let the Lions in through silly mistakes, which is a really smart way to play over there. I was quite happy with that. And then our work at the breakdown, like Gav touched on, and Ivan Owen as well, adding to how well the forwards were competing. It just looked like we've gone with a nice game plan, turn the ball over in their half and try and punish them. And for a long period, it worked. I was really pleased with it. Owen and Anisi, like Gav said again, absolutely fantastic centre partnership. They just click in. Really, really beautiful to watch. Looked to get the ball wide a lot as well, but it just didn't always stick with Rio and Mossa, sadly. It was a few times we couldn't quite keep hold of it. But we were creating space, which was really good to see. And I think the forwards in many ways battled so hard and fronted up, especially at the breakdown. But that scrum, I mean, we can do this to death, but the scrum just absolutely killed us. It's just so many easy ins. Like their try came from them shunting us off the ball. It's frustrating because you just think, how is there that much of a gap between the teams scrummaging wise? What are we not doing? It needs to be addressed. And Gav touched on it. It's not down to one man. And scrummaging is a unit, but we were a lot better with Rob Hunt. So why is there such a drop off now? So there are concerns at tight head.
Yeah.
I think it's an area where we clearly do need more strengthening. I'm not a recruitment expert, so I'm not sure who's out there who we can go and get. But I didn't know of Rob Hunt before this season, so it's frustrating. I think there was times when we put some really good work in and put some nice back play together. And then, if it come to a scrum, you just knew what was happening.
But there are blokes like Rob Hunt all through the Curry Cup.
Yeah.
Because if you ever watch the Curry Cup games, they're just huge blokes scrummaging against each other. And because there's so many huge blokes in South Africa, lots of them don't get picked up. So there's bargains out there. There's money ball signings. And yes, I know what people are saying. Oh, but that's not helping the Welsh game. We've got loads of Welsh props. Another big South African's not going to hurt us.
No.
And also, it's not helping some of our young back rowers being in a rubbish scrum and not having the ball to play with either. It's not helping them be in a proper rugby game, is it? They're helping us compete. So
doesn't help anyone. You know yourself, Gareth. You've played in the forwards. If the scrum's going backwards, it's not fun for anyone, is it?
No. It's energy sapping. It ties you in. It makes the whole game's harder from that phase, isn't it? So
it's a fair point. Yeah,
it is really frustrating. I do think we need strength there. But, the tries we scored were absolutely stunning. I really liked Owen's try, like you said, with Anisi being really selfless to give him the ball. That cross kick from Angus was DuPont-esque, wasn't it? That sort of flat, powerful cross
Beautiful.
kick. Absolutely stunning. And Rio took that really well. It was really good. I'm really pleased that we took a point from it. And despite the end scoreline, we did battle hard.
Yeah.
But it's a slightly frustrating tour that I feel like we could have come away with more. But that does show how far we've come. Last year, we shipped 60 points against them. Last time we were away.
Yeah. Very, very, very true. I completely agree.
We always got to remember where we were last year to this year. And then, let's hope we take that step next year and let's get over the line.
No, absolutely. And Rio's try, that was my favourite moment of the match. I absolutely loved it. So first of all, I loved the try. The crossfield kick from Angus, perfectly executed. Great finish from Rio. And then followed up by quite possibly one of my favourite ever commentator quotes was, "Take that to the bank." Absolutely loved it. It sounded like something you would hear in NFL. Like you could imagine, can't you? Cleveland score. Take that to the bank.
Well,
absolutely loved it.
We know that's not happening.
All right, Gavin, pipe down there. I should have said Cleveland. I should have said Seattle or something like that, shouldn't I? Oh, just compound my sporting misery. Wales, Dragons, Cleveland, County.
County won, though.
They did, yeah. We're staying up.
Come on.
Staying up.
Well, it looks like it now.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I absolutely loved it. Loved the try. Loved the commentary. It was fabulous. the scrum. I know we've talked about it, but I'll just add my 2 pennies worth. Dragons have 5 games left this season. I mean, it could be more if they beat Stade Français, but spoiler alert, that's not going to happen, right? So let's just say 5 games
What?
left. Sorry, Gav, to break it to you, but it's not going to happen. So we got 5 games left, and it's been a mostly encouraging season. I think we can all agree on that. Yes, we're 15th in the league, but to be honest, that's where I expected us to be. And the reality is, at the moment, Dragons are fundamentally a bottom 2 team. Until they start winning more, until we start winning more games, we are fundamentally a bottom 2 team. That is where we are. Okay, but it's been a positive season, and we have made improvements. But this scrum now is killing us. And it wasn't just the South Africa tour, because somebody said, "Oh well, Cardiff struggled out in South Africa with their scrum, and so did Edinburgh." We struggled against Benetton at home in the scrum.
Yeah.
We did.
Before we even flew to South Africa. And the last 3 games, watching a scrum has been utterly painful, and it's a big problem now. And I think unless the coaches get a grip on it and fix the problem, then I think Dragons could conceivably lose all their remaining games because they don't have a scrum. It's that bad. Because losing guys like Rob Hunt and Cyril Damani as well, I have no doubt, yes, he was only on loan until the end of January, but had he not got injured, they probably would have extended his loan deal. Losing those guys has really weakened the scrum. And I'm not on this pod to throw players under the bus. That's not what I'm here to do, okay? Nobody goes on a rugby field to be shit, right? They're trying their best, these guys. But the majority of penalties are coming from the tight head side. Not all of them, but the majority of them are.
Yeah.
And I think losing Rob Hunt has really, really hurt us. And then you got Philo changing the entire front row after 51 minutes. So Elliot D came on, bags of experience, great player, fine. But then you're bringing on with him 2 kids. You're bringing on Jordan Morris, who's 22 years old, and then you bring on Owain James, who's 20. Now, I don't want to say you're setting them up to fail, but when you're throwing kids like that out in South Africa against a massive pack, they're going to struggle. It almost doesn't feel fair to me, but that's where we are now because of injuries. And I think our scrum is really going to hurt the progress that we've made this season. It's a big, big problem. But here's the problem, no, Gav. How do they fix it? How do they fix it? Because you got Chris Coleman, who it's great to have him back from injury, but he has been struggling, it's fair to say. Luke Yendall doesn't appear to be trusted by the Dragons. They'd rather play 20-year-old Owain James in front of him. And then you got Owain James, who, of course, is learning on the job. They've got to make do with what they got, because the thing is, Gav, you say about bringing someone in, I don't think they're going to bring anyone in now.
No,
it's
no,
that
well,
point of the season. It's 5 games left.
Well,
they have to
couldn't.
make do.
Well, who could they bring in? They couldn't bring anyone in. What you'd end up is like a George Roberts situation, where you get some bloke who's 4th choice at Ospreys or whatever, and has played 5 games for Bridgend.
It's really, really difficult. And Dylan Lewis, to be fair, I looked at his Instagram the other night, and he is working really hard. He's working
I like
really
his
hard.
content, to be fair. It's
I know it
behind the scenes.
I know Dylan plays the Joker, right? That's just his personality, but he is working really hard. Did you see he was doing wrestling with Ollie Griffiths?
I wouldn't fancy that either.
No. So to be fair, he says he's desperate to get back. The problem is time is running out now.
Yeah.
And it's been really disappointing not to have the experience of Dylan Lewis. But we've got a big problem with scrum time, boys, especially on the tight end. And it is really worrying. And I think it could sabotage the progress the Dragons have made for the rest of the season. That's how concerned I am about it.
I think it already has a little bit, isn't it, to be fair, yeah.
And it's not the kind of thing you can coach away quickly.
No.
Because, it's not about individuals. Scrum as a unit, but it's about the way we're training the scrum. And we don't have a scrum specialist, do we? We don't have like a specialist front row or tight 5 coach. So I think what we're setting up quite passively. Is the way it looks to me. So if you look at the way we set, and it's designed to take the big shove out of it, but we are almost when we bind, we're not really driving it. It's like we take the hit, which you're meant to do. But if you look at someone like Ellis Genge, I'll use him as an example. he doesn't change his bind illegally, but he shifts his bind to give him right at the final moment, just to give him a bit more impact, a bit more momentum. And what we are doing, we're basically being driven back because we aren't doing that.
No, it was another tough day for the scrum. And I did feel sorry for Jordan Morrison or Wayne James. Said, in an ideal world, you really shouldn't be bringing on kids like that, should you? Up front against a massive South pack.
In Ellis Park, like
I know
Jesus.
it's just
No.
like they said. You're sat there thinking, and it's not the Dragons' fault because they got
No.
injuries, but you're sat there watching, thinking, this is lambs to the slaughter. You're bringing on kids, and they're going to get munched, and that's what happened. It's a big concern, and like I said, I don't really know what the Dragons could do to address that issue right now.
Yeah, you want both those boys playing week in, week out in the SRC, don't you, this season?
Yeah.
Just gaining experience. And I think if we, hopefully we sign more depth of pot, but I think a scrum coach for next season would be a nice addition.
Oh, we need one. We need, because a good scrum coach can turn average players into decent scrummagers. Oh God, it was the Argentinian guy who took over at Australia as their forwards coach.
The Desmond, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Australian scrum went from shooting backwards on roller skates to actually being quite competitive.
No, completely agree. So do you remember when Dean Ryan was our coach? In his first season, he brought in a scrum consultant. Remember Olivier Azam?
Yeah.
Good
Yeah,
player.
Former Gloucester and
Yeah.
France player. Yeah.
So he was brought in by Dean Ryan, and our scrum improved significantly. And Leon Brown really, really improved. In 2019, Leon Brown was on top of his game, and his scrummaging had massively improved. I kind of feel like Dragons need to bring in a consultant or a specialist. I know Sam Hobbs is our forwards coach, and to be fair, Sam is doing a very good job.
Yeah.
But the scrum is so
Yeah.
important. The scrum is really important. It's such a weapon now. It gives you penalties. It gives you territory. It gives you penalties. It's so important. If you've got a good scrum, that's a powerful weapon. And what we've got now is a very weak scrum, and a scrum that's going on roller skates or is flopping to the floor. And like I said, I'm worried about it now. We got Stade Français next, and we got the Bulls. Do you know what I mean? Two massive packs. How are we going to compete up front?
Yeah. It's interesting you say about how we're setting up as well, Gav, because if we're setting up to hopefully gain parity, then you're either going to gain parity or you're going to lose the contest. If you're setting up to be aggressive, your ceiling's going to be a bit higher. We're not winning pens ever at scrum time, are we, at the minute? So,
and I'm not in there, so I don't know what's happening, but it doesn't look like that. If you compared it to the way from the set, if you compare to the way the we drive in the set and the way, for instance, Benetton were,
yeah.
kind of Benetton were looking for that extra half inch beyond the set. And Robert Hunt does that naturally. And Robert Hunt's bind is just really, really beautifully done because he doesn't illegally shift. But what he'll do, he'll drive his bind, still a long bind, but he'll move it up. So he's already driving the opposition prop down.
Yeah. Yeah.
So get a scrum doctor in. Come on, Dragons. It makes sense, doesn't it?
It does. I think that's what they should do. I don't know if they won't do it though.
Because that's my concern with us at the minute is that we have shown so much improvement this season, and it's been great over Rodney Parade. Like it has been an absolute joy to be over there. But we can't sort of think, oh, there we go, we've improved tidy, because everyone else is trying to improve again next season, and we're still 15th at the minute. So we do need to look, how can we be better? Because we've still got a long way to go.
Yeah.
Oh, massively so. But if you
adding to
haven't
the
got
coaching
scrum,
ticket, and yeah, Sam Hobbs has done a great job with the forwards. The line-out's really good, driving ball's good, deep, and just the aggression around the park from the forwards. I'm really happy with that. But yeah, just get a specialist in. Come on.
yeah.
But, a good set, and our set piece has been patchy, isn't it?
The lineup's been good, in fairness.
And well, it has generally, but when it goes wrong at entirely the wrong time.
We've had a couple of games where it's been, consistently bad, isn't it?
Yeah.
In the odd one, but especially without Carter running it.
Yeah. So, every time now we go for scrum, my toes are curling. Because you know what's coming. You know what's coming. Yeah, I'm quite concerned about that. So let's see. Hopefully there'll be some improvements. Shout outs for me then. So congratulations to Brodie Coghlan on his 50th cap. That went quick, didn't it?
Oh yeah, class player.
Congratulations.
Love
Yeah.
Brody.
Yeah.
Absolutely love Brody. What a player.
Nice moment for him and his family. So congratulations to him. Angus O'Brien reaching 500 points for the Dragons.
Nice.
That's a great milestone for him.
Well deserved. Do you see the clip from the Dragons that they put out getting his
Yes.
first points as a teenager?
Yeah, I saw that.
He looks so young, didn't he? And the hair.
His massive bouffant.
Yeah, bring it back.
Yeah. We'll talk about this in a bit more detail, but I do want to give a shout out to Jack Lloyd for having to play scrum half for 25 minutes after
Yes.
Rodri's HIA. Philo said this: we had 2 HIAs with our halfbacks coming off, and our young 10, Jack Lloyd, had to go and play a position he had never played before. So we had to adapt and stay agile and try to apply pressure. Do you know what? He did well.
I thought he did really
never
well.
played
Yeah.
scrum half before. For a young kid to do that, I thought Jack Lloyd did a decent job at 9. Fair play to him.
He did do really well. But I tell you what, you look and think, why did the Lions pull away? And you think, we were all over the shop as a team, but that is difficult to deal with. But he did do really well. Fair play to him. It wasn't like a noticeable drop, was it? But
no,
I think as a team we just got tired, didn't we? Because of the altitude and all that stuff.
6-day turnaround as well.
Yeah,
but we didn't make that many changes. To be fair, not as many as I thought we would make.
No. Teams don't win at Ellis Park generally.
It's such a tough place to go. Going to South Africa is hard. It really is hard. Fair play to the teams who can go down there and get a win, but it really is a tough place to go. So, yeah, I want to give a shout out to Jack because I thought he did really well. I have to give another shout out as well to Anarian Owen. I talk about him a lot on this pod. I'm Ben Carter, but I'll say it again. Anarian is quietly having an outstanding season. 2 tries, 11 carries, 10 tackles completed, and a turnover. Always leads by example. Always speaks well in interviews. I like what he said after the game as well. So Dragons put up an interview that they did with him after the game. He said, "We feel like we're growing every week and getting better. But again, at the same time, we probably need to learn a little bit quicker." Spot on. That is spot on. That's exactly how I feel about this Dragons team. Yes, we are improving. This has been a much better season than last season. That's great. But I still feel we are some way off. And I still think we're not nailing the key moments. And there's certain areas where we are still very weak. I think there's a lot of growth in this Dragons team, but I still think there's a hell of a lot of work to be done. And I thought, and Ivan spoke very well. And I thought he was excellent again. And I love that centre partnership with him and Anisi. It just works, doesn't it? It works so well.
He's been our best back, I think.
Oh, he's in contention for Dragons Player of the Season now.
Yeah.
He has been outstanding.
Because he's consistent.
Yeah.
He's never worse than 7 out of 10. And is sometimes 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah. Brilliant again. Bit of a stats debrief for you then. So Dragons had 45% possession and 40% territory. That's compared to the Lions who had 55% territory and 56% possession and 60% territory. Set piece, this won't surprise you too. Dragons 100% scrum win. Dragons, how much do you think they had? The scrum percentage win?
40.
I mean, at one point, Wayne, I've never seen people pulling out the ball of a scrum so quick. That's why we turned Faletau into like the world's best number 8, and we've done the same with Wayno.
But that's what you have to do. When you know it's going backwards, it's literally like tap the hooker's hand, get it in, get it out, pick it up, run like that.
There was one that he did, it was unbelievable with his go-go gadget arms reaching through and getting it out. But the next one, I watched it, the ball didn't even get past the hooker because we just got absolutely obliterated off it. And Wayne was just like, what am I meant to do? Like, it's just...
he had a busy day, Wayne, right? And I tell you what, he won't have this at Leicester. You'll thank his lucky stars. When he goes to Leicester, he won't have to deal with this. But my goodness, he worked incredibly hard. And that ball just had to go in and he had to come out, didn't there?
Yeah.
Sorry, Gavin, what was you going to say then?
No, I was just going to say in terms of that kind of Wayno's work, it's no wonder really, like kind of we rate him so highly because he was pulling rabbits out of the hat yesterday, wasn't he? You know,
he really was. And that's when I feel sorry for him then. Because like I said, he won't have to do that at Leicester. No. You'll get a lot more joy and success there. But it just shows what a brilliant player he is, despite, consistently been on the back foot with us. But yeah, they were fantastic performance from Wayno. So the Dragons' scrum win percentage was just 67%. Which still feels high to me, but it's fair to say we've gone into detail about it. The scrum is a disaster. Something needs to happen if Dragons are going to continue their progress, because it's quite worrying that we got no scrum. The good news, however, is the Dragons line out ran at 100% compared to the Lions, which ran at 84%. So that's a win. That's a small win right there. The attack stats are quite interesting. Listen to this, Garth, because you'll like this. So Dragons made 192 post-contact meters and 5 line breaks. Right? Now listen to the Lions stats. The Lions made 333 post-contact meters and made 12 line breaks. That tells a story right there, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think that 6 probably made about 80% of that, just running over people.
They're so good in attack. They really are a joy to watch. Their offloading game is so strong. Really, really good. Like I said, it's great to watch, except when they're playing your team. When it's against your team, you don't want to see it, do you? But they really
You'd
are
love to
great
be
team.
the Lions when you like. They're not full of superstars. They're just a quality team that are all on the same page, especially in attack. And
I would love us to be that, though. That's what I want us to be.
They've got a playing style that's really definable and discernible, and they just get players who fit that style.
Yeah. Disappointing turnover stat, though. So Lions lost 11 turnovers. We lost 17, which is quite high. That's quite disappointing to lose that much ball. And then finally, Lions conceded just 5 penalties all game. Dragons conceded 11. Not too bad, but yeah.
Some of them were a bit finicky as well, like a couple of not rolling away when he's trapped in by some massive Afrikaner. But there we are. That's the tail of the tape. Those are the stats. Now, I wanted to talk about the scrum half issue. So the Dragons have a scrum half crisis now. Shea Hope is out for the season, as we know. Morgan Lloyd is currently injured. Now, I don't know how long for, but he is on the injured list. Okay. And both Niall Armstrong and Rodri Williams were forced off in the Lions game with HIAs. Okay. Now, if Morgan Lloyd, Niall Armstrong, and Rodri Williams are not available for Stade Français, and I'm going to assume they're not. I'm not an expert on head injuries, but I'm going to assume they won't be available. Okay. That would leave us with the Academy Nines. So we're looking at 20-year-old Logan Franklin. He's played a couple of games, hasn't he?
Yeah.
On the bench,
Not for us, not senior level. He's played a lot of Super Rugby Country. No, I don't think he has, no. And then you got 19-year-old Carter Pritchard, who recently played for Wales under-20s in the Six Nations. So if you watched the under-20s Six Nations, you would have seen Carter. And to be fair, he did pretty good. Unless they can bring in an emergency scrum half on loan, they would have to be registered with EPCR. I'm not entirely sure what the rules and regulations are around this. But we are really down to the bare bones now. We do not have a senior scrum half on the list if those guys are available. We're going to have to play the academy kids.
Pretty important position, isn't it?
And we got to go away to Stade Français.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a crisis. So I'm really interested to see what the Dragons do. Hopefully Morgan Lloyd will be available, but if not, we're looking at the kids. I did see a couple of comments, and I don't know if you saw this as well, Gav, because you're quite active on the Dragons Facebook forums. I have seen people say, well, why not give Jack Lloyd a go? He was good. And I'm like, no, I'm sorry. I would much rather give one of the academy scrum halves a crack than give it to Jack Lloyd. That wasn't his position.
No,
that was not his position.
Nine.
He did it because he had to. It was the emergency. I do not want us going in to a big European knockout cup game without 10 covering 9. That's not.
You don't put Rio Ferdinand in goals during a game and then go, do you know what? Do you want to play there next week as well? Like, it's
bonkers.
He didn't manage the breakdown as well as an actual 9 would.
No.
You know, because forwards were picking up and when they shouldn't have, and not picking up when they should have. And the 9 would just be like, get out of the way, pick her up. You know, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
pick a proper 9, even if it's a youngster. Go for it.
Yeah,
they'll have nothing to lose as well, which would be great.
No,
No, that's right. And I think you can get away with playing an academy kid or youngster in a certain position, can't you? So like if it's the back three, I think you can get away with it.
Yeah.
I think you can get away with it at scrum half. I've got no issue if we do turn to the academy kids for this
It's-
one. Obviously, when you're playing academy kids up front, a prop, then that's a no-no. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think you're spot on. You don't want to be picking kids up front, but at 9, we'll have Tina's back at 10, Angus at 15. You've got experience on the pitch, settle centre partnership, plenty of experience around them. They just need to be really clear on what their job is on the day, and
Yeah.
just take the pressure off and let them go, and it could be quite interesting.
Because with a 9, it can be a really simple game plan, which would just be like, right, give it to the forwards for a couple of phases, then give it to 10. Don't do anything else.
Give it to 10 when 10 calls for it.
Yeah.
Job
Well,
done.
I think the best outcome would be that one of these scrum halves would be available. If
Yeah.
not, then I'd rather go for the academy kids, to be honest. I don't want Jack Lloyd starting at 9.
Well, that
Like, I
would
know
be
he did a
silly.
great job. Fair play to him. I mentioned that earlier, but I don't want it. You can't. You can't do
No,
that.
it's not
That
fair.
would be silly, personally.
It would be very silly. Yeah. Right. Any more comments about the Lions game or anything else in
No.
general? Nope. We'll move on then. Right. Okay. So just a reminder, if you enjoy the pod, please leave us a nice review. 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify will get you a shout out on this pod. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please like the video, press the hype button, wherever that does. It really does help us, apparently. And have a look and click on the shop at the bottom of the screen if you fancy getting your hands on t-shirts, hoodies, and mugs. Right then, Gavin, Gwent Rugby Round-Up. You've got quite a bit to get through, haven't you? So,
I do.
yeah,
So let's start
let's
with our
go around with it.
results. So let's go into the SRC. A mixed weekend for our clubs. Aberavon 38, Pontypool 14, Newport 35, Bridgend 20, and Swansea 33, Eberville 34. And Cardiff have really come into form. They scored
Yes.
40 points at Llandovery this weekend. So
Mm,
just as we go into the knockout part of it, Cardiff have hit form.
indeed.
In the Prem, Bargoed 21, Cardiff Met 13, Cross Keys 24, St Leslie Wanderers 31, and Newbridge 36, Neath 45. Lots of points there, but not a good day for the Gwent side. In the Championship, Aberdeen 15, Bedwas 38, Abdelayri 47, Talawine 19, Rumney, not ours, the Cardiff one 20, Penaltha 27, Annisty 24, St Joseph's 45. Division 1, Brynmawr 51, Monmouth 20, Nelson 17, Blackwood 19, and Newport High School All Boys 22, Blaenau 41. Division 2, Abercarn 34, Croeso Ceiliog 25, and that game was abandoned after 71 minutes due to a serious injury. Pontypool United 24, Cwmbran 32, Rumney 50, Caldicot 31, and Ask 78, St Gennes 26.
Oosh, that's a big
That,
sort.
that would have been nice to be on the end of that.
Nope.
Division 3, Killeen 17, Nantiglow 19, Fleur de Lis 38, RTB Ebervale 10. Tough season for RTB, likely to be relegated. Garndiffe 19, Chepstow 10, Machen 10, New Panteg 31, and Risca 26, Gwynedd 43. And Gwynedd are already promoted. Killeen are in second, but the teams below them have games in hand. Division 4, Crumlin 31, Llanillow 12, Derry 36, Abertwsog 6, Oakdale 43, Tredegar Ironsides 5, and Pontfry 13, Whitehead 35. Division 5, Blackwood Stars 26, Hollybush 38, Hafod Aranis 26, Hartridge 30. Division 7, Girlin 7, Penaltha Athletic 55, and New Tredegar versus Hirwaun was postponed. The Dragons Athletic League, Nelson Nomads 47, Annisty Rats 29, Pill Development 29, Blackwood Griffins 43, and only the one woman's result, Ebervale 17, Dowless 10. And then we've also got some messages from friends of the pod.
Yep.
So let me...
Old man with technology time, is it,
Yeah,
Gav?
old man with technology time. So we as in the pod have been invited to join Whitehead RFC on their 90th anniversary on Saturday 16th of May.
Ooh.
There'll be from 10 a.m. There'll be junior rugby festivals, great community atmosphere, and lots of opportunities to see rugby on that day. And there's also, I understand, a pick-up point for the supporters bus if you're planning to go to Scarlets later in the day at Whitehead. So if you're interested, go down there. And we've been invited as a pod, and that's something we are looking to see if we can do. Sadly, it's the 20th anniversary of my club that day, so I probably need to be there, sadly.
Yeah, and I can vouch for what a good day that'll be. Whiteheads is my old club, and that'll be absolutely amazing down Whiteheads. I'm meant to be away at the minute, and so I'm not on the supporters bus either to the Scarlets, but I'm seeing if I can change my plans because I'd love to get down the Eds, see a few friendly faces.
On the subject of the supporters bus, let me tell you our message from the Dragons Supporters
Look
Club.
at that, seamless.
Yeah, see where there.
People might start thinking we rehearse.
I've got it all being fed to me by our producer. Coaches for the Scarlets away game are currently full. However, please message us via dosctravel, all one word, at gmail.com if you want a spot. We'll start a waiting list to see if a third bus is viable. And on the rugby news front, the Dragons All-Stars secured a great win against Worcester this week. It was a fantastic display of mixed ability rugby played with the right spirit, and well done to all. And I have a third piece of news, but this is me being slightly self-serving. So, any listeners out there, if you have a vets team, and particularly an old vets team, please get in touch with me. So I am one of the organisers, team managers of Sussex over 50 Super Vets team. Recently made my debut for the county against Devon. We'll ignore the result. But if there's a team in South Wales that has a Super Vets side, or someone who might be able to organise a Super Vets team to play against Sussex, we're really interested to come up and play somewhere along the M4 corridor, and we can be really flexible on dates. So if you listen to the pod and you think, oh, that's something we could do, just get in touch with the pod and we can have a conversation.
Great stuff. I want to thank Dominique as well from Whitehead for inviting us. That's really nice. It's really kind gesture. We appreciate that, and we'll try our best to make it. No promises, but we will try and find a way, because that'd be class, wouldn't it, if we could go to that.
And how good that the supporters are getting a third, but there'll be more Dragons fans there than the Scarlets, because they just turn up on a tandem bike, don't they? So that'll be a good one. Fair play, the supporters bus is selling out. That's class.
That's big, because the Dragons are not known for travelling, so to get a couple of buses down here now, potentially a third, that's pretty big. But it is because of Wainwright's last game, and I think we should all make the effort if we can to go down there and say goodbye to a Dragons legend, one of the greatest players that we've ever had represent the jersey, just like Faletau. He is an absolute legend. Love the guy to bits, and we miss him so much. Yeah. So there you go. I know. Sorry. And then just one final thing for me. Going back to the SRC, good to see Ebbw and Newport. They're in the top three now, Gav, in the table.
Yeah. Ebbw are second. Ebbw first.
Yeah.
Newport third.
Yeah. Unfortunately, though, Pontypool, they're having a miserable season. They're rock bottom. What has gone wrong at Pontypool? Get in touch, Pooler fans. Is it coaching? Is it players? This has been a very poor season. Can't put my finger on it.
Yeah, after reaching the playoffs last year. So, it's...
the drop-off is mad.
Yeah.
What is going on at Pontypool Park? Who knows? Okay, brilliant. Is that it, Gav?
Yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Right, so the URC is now on pause, and it's European rugby time. Dragons are making their way to Paris to face Stade Français in the last 16 in the Challenge Cup. Now, looking at the EPCR website, as things stand, and this is subject to change, but as things stand, I cannot see a UK broadcaster showing this game. So if that remains the case, we will probably need to buy a game pass from EPCR TV, or you can get a VPN because I think French TV are showing it. It's on BN Sports and Flow Rugby, so you might want to think about purchasing a VPN, perhaps. Hopefully, S4C or Premier Sports will pick it up last minute. That's what they did, didn't they, with the Lyon game? Remember, there was that confusion about where they're showing it, where they're not showing it, and in the end, Premier Sports did show it on their website, didn't they, Gav, if I remember correctly? So hopefully there'll be an option. But otherwise, as things stand, I cannot see a UK broadcaster on the website for showing this game. So I'm afraid we might need to purchase. Well, I say we, our producer will sort that out. We might need to pick up a Game Pass. Quite right, too. We'll pick up a Game Pass on the PCR TV. That's disappointing. I think, S4C should have picked this up if they could. That's really disappointing. So we head into this game. It's great that we've made the knockouts. That's what we wanted. Shame it's now at home, but nonetheless, we made it. We got no scrum, and we got no scrum halves. And we're up against one of the informed clubs in Europe. What could possibly go wrong, I wonder?
Oh, nothing.
Let's start with you then, Gavin. What are your thoughts heading into Stade Français? It's going to be a nice trip for away supporters, isn't it?
Yeah. Where are they in top 40? I must admit, I pay very little attention.
Very high up. Let me double check now whilst we're on. They're doing really well.
They're having a good season. Yeah.
Table, they are fourth. They're 1 point off second, to be fair. So
I was hoping they might not prioritise this.
Well, they still might not mind. You don't know. They might make some changes.
Well, it looks like they're playing Clermont right now, but they smashed Toulon last week, beat Perpignan the week before, narrowly lost to Toulouse before that. So they've beat Bordeaux this season. They're they're pretty good.
They're having a very good season. Like I said, we got no scrum halves, we got no scrum. So, Gavin, how do you see this one going?
Well, I don't think we'll be worrying about the quarterfinals.
No, it's been a nice run. It's been a nice run.
Look, we said we wanted to get to knockout stages, and I think these are one of the teams who are likely to win it. So,
okay, fair enough. Gareth, what are you saying? Dragons by 10?
Do you know what? I am excited for the game. I'm really looking forward to it. And I think it's a bit of a free swing. I think they are genuinely a quality side. I think Gav's right. They should be favourites now to go on and win this tournament. They're a huge team. We're going to a big stadium. I just want us to really enjoy it. I think it's a great experience for the players. They deserve to be in this spot. So let's go and put our best foot forward and take a swing at them. Just keep doing what it. Yeah, we have earned it. Let's just, keep doing what we're doing. Let's fight hard in defence. Let's be brave in attack. Let's not go into our shells. Let's get the ball wide. Let's get the ball into Anisi's hands, which I'm sure we will. Let's be brave. Let's go at them. See what we can do. There's low expectations here, but I'm really looking forward to the game, and I hope we really take it to them. And whatever the outcome, let's just put our best foot forward. And you never know. 15 blokes against 15 blokes, isn't it?
Yeah, you never know. Look what happened in 2014. Dragons went to Stade Français and they won. Remember that? 22-38.
Oof.
Angus announced himself. He had a very good game, didn't he, that night?
Oh, yeah. It's just, yeah.
Yeah, he did really well.
Oh, well, we'll take that. But yeah, I'm not expecting us to win. I'm not even going to predict us to win, but let's put our best foot forward and let's enjoy it. Players have deserved it. This is what you play rugby for. A big knockout game in a big stadium against a big side. Go test yourselves. Let's see. We want to be as good as Stade Français, so go see what it takes to beat them.
Fair enough. I can't argue with that. I am looking forward to it, but I just wish that we didn't have the anxiety over the scrum and the anxiety around the scrum half situation. But like you said, it's a free hit, right? No one's expecting us to win. It's a nice trip for away supporters. Yeah. Give it a crack. Give it a go. You never know what might happen. That's how I'm looking at it. So, yeah. I'm not sure what else is there to say about this game, really, is there? Other than just go there, give it a good go, and see what happens. European upsets can happen. You remember Gloucester? No one expected us to beat Gloucester. The problem is I'm going back a long time now. And to be fair, like you said, we wanted them to get to the knockout stages, and they have done that. In fairness, the Dragons.
They've
So we
achieved what
can't.
we wanted. So
It's going to end you the European journey, and that's fine. But let's have a functioning scrum.
yeah,
Let's give it
and
a
a
good
scrum
crack.
half.
Yes,
Yeah.
functioning scrum and a scrum half, and we'll be great.
You know, so we'll bring
yeah.
Tinas back at 10, won't we? Put Angus back to 15.
Yes, I'm hoping Tinas will be available. I'm hoping Levi Douglas will be available because he missed the Lions game, didn't he? Failed a late fitness test. That meant Screech came in, Kai Evans as well, then Anderson came in. So I think Levi was missed as well against the Lions, that big ball carrying option as well. I think he'll make a difference to the scrum mind. You know, if you've got a big bastard lock behind you, then you got a better chance, I think. I think
fair.
Levi does add to the scrum as well. So I'm hoping Wyn Jones will be available. He didn't play last week. I don't think he's injured. I think they might be saving him for this one. We should take a pretty good team. We should take a pretty. I think we'll go fully loaded for this one. I think we will give it a good crack. I think we will.
We have to. We've got a longer turnaround then until the Bulls, and it's good like 10 days or something.
Yeah, I think we'll give it a good crack. We might as well. We got nothing to lose. But like I said, the question marks that I'm expecting it'll probably be Coleman and Owain James again, unless Yendel comes in from the cold. Luke Yendel, I doubt it. I don't know. Don't know what's going on.
If he hasn't been picked so far, I can't see him being picked now.
No, so we're gonna have Coleman, but I think Wyn Jones will help having that experience. So you're probably looking at Wyn Jones, Elliot D, and Chris Coleman front row. And then, would you start Levi Douglas or have him on the bench? Because I quite like Seb Davis and Ben Carter. Then with the added umph of Levi coming on later, or would you put like Seb Davis on the bench to come on?
I'd bring Levi off the bench, I think, because he does run out of steam, doesn't he? Bless him.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think when he first come back from his injury, he was running out of steam, but I think he has to look pretty fit. I'd be tempted to start him just because we need to get over that gain line. And Seb's been stringing a couple of decent performances together, to be fair to him, but I'd be tempted just to put our best team on the pitch and stay in that fight as long as we can.
Yeah.
And who knows, rattle them.
Miracles could do happen, don't
let's
they?
Let's try and rattle them and get the crowd on their back.
Yeah. Fair enough. Okay, so this is a Sunday, and it's an early. Is it 12:30 kickoff? It's an early kickoff, isn't it? I think it's quite early this.
Is that Easter Sunday?
It is.
Yeah.
So obviously the missus and the little one. What's our plans, Easter? Daddy sat in front of the telly, mate. Dragons are on. Granddad's coming over. Get the game on.
Lunchtime kickoff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so predictions. Gavin, how do you see this one going?
Stade by 15.
Fair enough. Gareth, Dragons by how many?
I think I'm going to go Stade by 9, but good performance.
Okay, fair enough. I'm going Stade by 17. I'm going Stade by 17 because, like I said, I'm just too worried about the scrum, and I have no idea who the hell is playing at 9. But
that is a concern, yeah.
But like I said, it's a free hit. I'm not really that bothered.
Yeah.
Let's just give it a crack. And I hope that if you are traveling out to Paris, enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Paris in the springtime is lovely. It's going to be great. But let's hope the Dragons, and I do mean this on a serious note, we saw what happened out in Perpignan. Now, I know a lot of people who went over to that game, and that was an absolute disgrace, that performance. They were very let down by that performance. Let's hope that they give the travelling supporters something to cheer about in their competitive. And I mean that. I think the Dragons got to do their bit to give travelling supporters something to cheer. I hope it don't end up like Perpignan. I think that'll be really, really disappointing if they played like they did out in Perpignan.
Yeah, that would be.
That would be terribly disappointing for everyone. But
I don't think it will. I think we've turned a corner since then. We've got a lot about us. Yeah.
There we have. Yeah. Good stuff. Okay, I think we will wrap it up there. Thank you both as always. Great to have you back, Gav. As Gareth says, there's no party without Gav. And he's right. He's absolutely spot on. Thank you to our friends at Riverside Sports Bar for their continued support of the pod. Thank you all for listening. And we'll be back again very soon. Upper Dragons. Take that to the bank.
Need to get a reward here. Kick pass out wide. Oh, boy! Brilliant! Take that to the bank. Rio Dyer. What a catch.